keep hustling. No fluff. Just be honest with your pricing. Just be completely transparent with your customers, your employees, and your vendors. If there's any issues, you have a strong backbone within the wrap community, and you have different avenues you can reach out to online. Through you guys, through other wrap shops. So I would say trade shows are kind of number one for me as far as learning, and also doing the actual wrap installation classes and getting certified.
What's up, guys? I'm here with Mike of Wrap. Shit. Damn it. Let me get your stuff down.
You're good.
Let me get your stuff down. Damn it. Mike of Surf City Graphics.
You're good.
Don't want to mess that up.
You're good.
And Edge, the source. This is called the source. Okay. What's up, guys? I'm here with Mike of Surf City, and this is episode number 4 of The Source. It's a podcast where we talk about all things rap related, and fuck, I'm going to have to cut that in. Talk about all things rap related. Mike here is writing an article all about the commercial rap game. Now, Mike, give us a little small introduction of who you are and what you've been doing.
Yeah, Surf City Graphics. We don't have a hobby or wrap shop or working out of a garage. We've been doing wraps for about 17 years now. Do anything from fleet wraps, window wraps, counters, special events. We do removals, rebrands, refreshes, restyles, real business, real deadlines, real money on the line. It moves quick, and if it sticks and if it sells, it probably rolls through our bay at a wrap shop or outside our wrap shop.
Nice. So how'd you get into doing commercial wraps? Did you start off doing that, or did you kind of start doing like color change, or what were you doing at the very beginning?
Yeah, first we were doing graphic design. Mainly got a degree in graphic design. My wife got a degree in art. We started running a sign shop first and managed the sign shop for a few years. And that's kind of when the wrap business kind of started taking off. And, everyone's learning, including all the big manufacturers, 3M, Avery, Oracle, and so on. So, everyone's learning. Everyone's on the same platform. I don't know. It just, when I started doing design and large format printing, started designing wraps and graphics, I just fell in love with it completely. Doing graphics on a car, working on cars, because I love cars in general. So to kind of blend in and do both at the same time was absolutely amazing. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. And after we managed the sign shop for a few years, and my wife and I kind of broke off and started Surf City Graphics, and kind of hit the ground running. A lot of failures, a lot of learning curves. It was all over the place. So, we're very passionate about it, very motivated to be successful, and very competitive people in general, just our whole mindset. And we don't like to give up. And if we do lose on a job, we want to make sure that we do better on the next job so we don't lose. Just like anything, any type of business or any type of sport, if you lose, you try to win the next time. And if you lose again, try to win the next time. So you know how it goes. But yeah, that's kind of how we started. And, we did everything from design to the printing to the installation ourselves for a while until we started getting a crew going. But yeah, you were
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. Like, what made you switch? Yeah, you were already running a sign business, right? It sounds like you were doing that profitably. That was good. So was it more of like an instinctual thing? Like, I love working with cars. I want to do, wrap printing for cars, or was it like more of a financial thing? Like, we could make a lot more doing this, sign gig, but for vehicles.
Right. It was both, I would say. Finances play an important role, obviously, for any job, any business. But it was more of the passion of working on large format graphics on cars and buildings and so on. But, mainly cars. I don't know what it was, but, my family's always been in the cars. My wife's family has always been in the cars, and also classic cars, hot rods, racing in general. So it was just a good blend. We had the same mindset of working on cars at the same time and doing graphics. And after doing a few of them, it was just really exciting to see, your wrap out in the wild, and you'll see it rolling by, and just the reaction of people seeing their car wrapped was a blessing in itself. you don't really get that when you design postcards and business cards. You get a little bit of that, right? But I don't know, something about wrapping a car for companies and then seeing them grow, and then they bring another car to you, and then they grow more, and then they bring another car or two to you. So it's just nice to grow with these small businesses and also big businesses. So it's really, so to go back to your question, yeah, it's both for sure. It's financial and a passion. I mean, you have to have both. But when we first started, the money factor wasn't really there, because I mean, you mess up on a few panels and there goes a lot of your profit margin. So you can't really focus on the money. You got to focus on making people happy, and you got to focus on doing a really good job and having really good high quality, and then people start throwing money at you. But the money
Yeah,
factor
that's what I
wasn't really
wanted
there.
to ask because, like, it sounds like you kind of start off when you started out doing the vehicle wraps, right? Was it a lot of small businesses, or did you kind of like cold call a lot of big places and get a big, sort of fleet job going right off the bat, or how did you kind of
Right.
dip your toes into that world and start doing that?
It was a blend of both. The company I was working for luckily had a lot of corporate big name brands, so they had a stronghold of bringing in high end clientele. But then being in Huntington Beach, especially in the mecca of hot rods and also just small businesses in Southern California, we were kind of immersed with both. It was high end, clientele, corporate businesses, and then also it was a lot of small businesses. So it was actually both. Our first big commercial wrap was actually for Lowrider magazine, so that was kind of thrown into our laps through a referral from another company. That was a small business. So you just never know. But it was kind of a blend of both, I would say.
Nice. And is that more fulfilling kind of when you grow with the smaller client? You wrap this one van back in the day and he comes back, he's got like 10 more and you're like,
Yeah,
you did a
it's a
great
good
job
feeling.
doing
Yeah,
something.
you start off with the small, and then you end up getting the big. A lot of word of mouth. We did work on a lot of SEO when we were first starting out. A lot of website, optimization, and a lot of, but mostly it was all old school kind of marketing, word of mouth. It was pretty neat. So I mean, people find
What
you
do you
online,
think
but
is more, sorry, what do you think is more important when you're starting out? Is it the SEO or is it the sort of word of mouth and people talking a buzz, Because a lot of people, they'll think, oh, I got to start this business. I got to run keywords. I got to do ads. I got to do emails. I got to do all these things. Like, if you're really starting out, you're really just trying to get your foot in the game and do it well. Like, what is the most important thing to focus on?
yeah, I would say you have to focus on both for sure. You can't rely completely on SEO, because word of mouth with people is by far, I think, in my opinion, better in a sense. It's free, as long as you do a good job. I mean, it's your blood, sweat, and tears that you have to pay for, in a sense, for those referrals. But if you could do a good job, they're gonna tell their friends and family and other colleagues and other business partners. I mean, it's just, that's the beautiful thing about wraps, right? I mean, the car people are driving around. We'll throw a little Surf City graphics sticker on there, and sometimes we'll give them a little bit of a discount depending on how big the logo is. But I have a lot of friends that told me, like, we see your wraps all over the place. I'm like, how do you know there are wraps? They're like, well, it has that little Surf City graphics sticker on there, you know.
Is
And then
that
those
something you
companies,
started doing from the very start, that little Surf City graphics kind of sticker? Or is that kind of, you came up with that later and like, oh, that'd be good, get the
it
branding
was
out
it was
there?
kind of, yeah, kind of trial and error, to be honest. It was more so, some companies actually asked me if we can put our logo on their car. They actually wanted our logo on their car because they wanted to help us out. Um, Other people asked us if we can do a sponsorship deal, if we can put our logo on there, and then others, I just ask, hey, is it cool if I put a little sticker on there? And most of them say, yeah, no problem. And I'll give them a little bit of a discount, a little incentive. But most of the time, people that have been in business for a long time, they want you to succeed. If they see how good of a company you have and how motivated you are, they want you to succeed. It's really cool. So a lot of people wanted to help us out. They've been in business for 20 to 40 years. They saw the potential in our business, and they automatically wanted to you know, put our graphics on their wraps. And
That's
sometimes
just
people
because the
don't.
name is, the
Right.
company that you built is notable enough and well liked enough to, that's like a badge of honor for them, which is a cool thing.
Yeah, it's
Um,
great.
I've been talking a lot about the sort of smaller starting out shops, but like when you kind of scale to a bigger level, right? A medium size, large size, you're doing a lot of fleets. Like what becomes like the main issue there? Is it sort of managing everybody, or is it keeping jobs coming in the door? Like what's the day-to-day struggles when you kind of upgrade, you know?
I would say it was a lot of, well, the busier you get and then the more business you get, people are asking for basically deals and price cuts, and they basically want a deal. The more they get, they're thinking the more wraps they get, the more of a discount they want. But then you realize it's the same square footage, it's the same amount of work to install it. It's not like we can cut corners on our end, and margins. I can't give cuts to my employees. I can't get cuts on insurance. I can't cuts on electricity. That's coming out of my pocket. So, I mean, honestly, I do give them a little bit of a discount, but I don't undercut our value of the work that we do at Surf City Graphics, because we do have high expectations from all of our employees and also all our vendors and things of that nature. So we definitely do not want to cut and give them too much of a discount. Plus, that undervalues the whole market in general. So um, I've noticed a lot of other wrap shops are undercutting and giving really really cheap wraps lately. I mean, they're giving out wraps that I've seen probably like 10 years ago, same pricing, and it's just undervaluing our quality and also the whole market in general.
Yeah, I actually just did an interview with Austin from Pain is Dead,
Okay.
literally just about this topic, but in the PPF realm, right? It was more about PPF, but same sort of deal where everybody's kind of coming in cheaper than the other guy, and like everybody kind of has to come down and adjust or find other ways to sort of stay, in the same price range as other places. But what's some things when a client comes to you and tells you, well, guy across the street's going to do it for this much, like what can you do? Like, what's your kind of answer to that?
Well, it's but the thing is, if we undercut the whole rap industry, I mean, everyone loses. You know what I mean? So, I mean, the employees lose because we can't pay them more, um, and then the client kind of loses in general because now we have to still make a margin, but we're going to be basically just doing something to make ends meet. A lot of people are like, well, we just have to keep the lights on. Well, that's kind of BS because then you're underpricing, and why are you just barely keeping the lights on in the first place? You don't have to fix a margin problem by creating more margin problems. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's not a good excuse. Like, oh, we just have to keep the lights on. So you have to have a bigger mindset in general. And yeah, I mean, you're going to be jeopardizing timelines at that point, durability, documentation. I mean, everything's going to be kind of compromised when you start giving these really, really good discounts just to win the job. And the thing is, like, you don't want to necessarily work with these cheap customers. I mean, you do want to help people out. When people are first starting out their business, you do want to kind of help them out in general. But the thing is, they're going to go to another person. Most likely, that customer is going to be asking, or the new customer is going to be asking, how much did you get the wrap for? And then most of the time, they'll tell them how much they got the wrap for. They'll come back to us. Well, this guy got it for this much, or they go to another wrap shop and the same thing, like, how much did you get the wrap for? And then that wrap shop's like, wow, they're really undercutting our value for the wrap industry in general. So it's not good. And you can't compare, our pricing in California versus pricing in other states, especially, Midwest or East Coast, because it's a totally different economy here in California, as you know. So
So, what is like the answer for rap shops to do? Like, what should they all sort of start banding together? Is there anything to be done, or is it kind of like every shop is an island and they have to make their own choices, and hopefully they choose to stay at their price point?
well, I learned a lot when I first did the 3M beginner wrap class. What was really cool about that class, there was a lot of class, actual sit down class instructions, which, to me was a little boring at first. But when I look back, I really appreciated all of that classroom shop talk because they literally broke down everything uh, from the vinyl to the lamination to your overhead electricity, everything like that. So they actually broke down dollar for dollar how much you should be charging per square foot and why. And that really opened my eyes. And that was about 17 years ago. And I've noticed that some wrap shops are actually charging the same amount as what 3M recommended 17 years ago. So, they're charging between, 10 and 12 bucks a square foot. It depends on the complexity of the wrap, right? And also design on top of that. But the pricing obviously went up a lot for everything, right? Workers' comp, insurance, everything we do for our wrap shop is um, all legalized with everything that we need to do for California Huntington Beach. So, we have all the insurance in place so that we can keep our, certifications and to keep, as they say, the lights on. But we have all the insurance, all the liability, and that obviously went up quite a bit the last 4 or 5 years. So I could see if we didn't have all of that insurance and workers' comp and everything of that, then we could charge less. But the problem is that if we ever get audited, then our shop's going to be closed down. So I rather focus on the high end clients and the clients that actually want to pay you for the quality that we're giving.
Right.
So
That's seems to be the answer is say no to the cheap guys.
right,
Hold on to your pricing. Don't give in. It's just like it only really takes one bad apple to spoil the bunch for all these wrap shops, and that's more of what I wanted to see if there's anything to be done there. Is there any like coalition of rappers that you could start? You know what I mean? Like some kind of superhero group where everybody sort of bands together, something like that.
well there has to be some type of standard for sure. If there is, because I know you guys do an amazing job educating people, which we completely appreciate. Everyone in the rap industry appreciates everything you guys do. You're educating people, and you're really going out there to keep high standards for the rap industry. And we don't want to do cheap raps. I mean, you can't really have a cheap rap because you have to use premium quality vinyl. If you don't, you're going to be spending extra time printing, extra time installing, extra time uninstalling. So it's not worth having cheap film. So you have to use the high grade quality film for wrapping. There's no cutting corners with that, obviously, if you've wrapped ever before. So what I'm trying to get at is you can't sell the vinyl for any less, and you can't do the installation for any less. So there's no reason why you should be doing cheap wraps. There's no possible way because if you use cheap vinyl, you're going to be spending extra time installing the graphics. So I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all to do cheap wraps. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to have accountability. You got to keep timelines. You got to keep durability. Everything costs money. Time costs money. So if you're selling everything by square footage, don't be shocked when you get treated like a commodity. So you just want to keep high standards and have high standards. Honestly, you have to have adequate pricing for vehicle wraps, as you know.
Got you. Well, that's enough about the bummer stuff. What's some good things that you've seen change over the years, like some positive developments in sort of the wrap, whether it's printing or color change, wrap shops in general. What's the more positive things you've seen lately come out of the wrap industry?
Yeah, for sure. Well, the previous topic I don't think was too negative. I mean, it was definitely something that we want to talk about. But as far as more optimistic things about wraps, I mean, the industry is pretty amazing. There's a lot of motivated and passionate people in this industry, and the industry is just growing exponentially every year. I've noticed. So, I mean, like my wrap installers, they absolutely love it. I mean, they said they're going to be doing it forever. I could see myself doing it forever. Even if I retire, I'm going to do it forever. So there's just a lot of innovation I've noticed in this industry. There's always new wrap tools. The vinyl is always getting better. If the vinyl starts failing for some reason, I've noticed that the manufacturers are trying to resolve that issue. For instance, we're going towards more, like you mentioned before, PPF. So I've noticed a lot of the wraps and color changes are going towards the PPF manufacturing and quality. So we're going from a 5 year average, warranty to a 10 year. So there's double right there. Kind of depends which area you live in and which zone you live in for that warranty. But for it to jump that much is pretty amazing. And then you have a lot of competitors now that are stepping into the industry, which is awesome for the original manufacturers that have been here for a long time. So that really pushes them. So competition is absolutely amazing. The industry is growing, like I said. So there's obviously more wrap shops opening up all the time, but just the standard has exponentially grown over time. So it's pretty cool to see. And you have I mean a plethora of wrap tools now. I mean you can have a tool bag with 100 tools in now compared to when we started. We had to make our own squeegees with felt or suede on them. Now you have hundreds of different types of squeegees. Yeah, it's just amazing, and it's just the whole industry in itself. I've noticed that a lot of people, even if they're competitors, they're still colleagues in a sense, and they're still allies, and we want to help each other out. So anytime we have a big job, I'll hit up other wrap shops to help us out. And technically, there are competitors, but there's so
Right.
much
That's
business.
what everybody wants to look at everybody else as is kind of, all fish in a pond you're trying to eat. And yeah, I mean, it's so niche and such a cool industry that, you're all trying to do the same thing at the end of the day. And there's plenty of money for everybody too. It's not like there's just a scarcity of people to sell wraps to. It's, it's not that dire where we all have to be enemies. And like I was trying to say, I think there's something there where if we all, if everybody kind of stuck to their pricing and really took the word coming from yours and Austin's mouth that it's actually going to help all of you to stay on the sort of same level with the pricing, it
Sure.
would help out
Yeah.
everybody in the end.
Yeah. Exactly. It's hard to, I fully understand, because when you first start a business, you want to make money. You have to make money, or you're gonna have issues. So sometimes you have to get another job. You have to find another avenue to make money when you're saying no to some of these jobs, or not giving out super cheap wraps just to make a few bucks. As I say, like just for a 6 pack of beer at the end of the week. It's not going to cut it, especially after you have to pay taxes. And obviously, we all know the IRS, they're going to catch you within a year or two if you don't pay taxes, and then you're going to definitely eat it. And then with interest and penalties, I mean, it's really going to throw you under. Yeah, it's a big learning curve when you first start. So if there's a way that we can educate wrap shops when we're doing these classes, these wrap classes, it's going to definitely help out the whole industry, like you said. And people need to learn to say no to jobs. I had the same problem. I wanted to say yes to everybody, but you have to learn to say no, and you got to keep your high standards and your prices in the adequate position.
Right. Your industry, I mean, it's all in the same wrap industry, obviously, but you kind of even sit in a different niche than that because you're doing mainly printed wraps, right? And can you break down sort of the differences, maybe, for a guy who's doing color change, what all goes into being like a printing wrap shop as opposed to just, tinting, color change, that kind of thing?
Right? Yeah, it's pretty neat. I absolutely love it. I think I like the color printed graphics better than the color change itself, but we do color change as well, and we do PPF. It's a lot of fun to kind of be diverse and kind of take care of everything, but we definitely specialize in the printed large format realm of vehicle wraps and graphics. So yeah, it's a whole different type of mindset. So we luckily have a design department, and then printing department, installation department, all in house. So it's a lot easier to work with. But if you don't, then you can always outsource your printing, obviously, the reprint wraps, and you can always outsource your design if you need to. It's just nice that we have everything in house. It just kind of streamlines everything, and then it's better to meet high demand rush jobs and rush orders. So as you know, this industry is pretty cutthroat, and a lot of people don't realize how long it's going to take to design, how long it's going to take to print, and also wrap a car. Sometimes people always think they can just drop off the car and they're just going to magically design and print, and wrap something right away. even though if we're like a month out, for instance, like we are right now. So, you just have to educate people. You have to let them know when they first get to you. Just make sure you let them know, hey, design right now is this lead time, and then printing and installation is this lead time. So you just have to be completely transparent and honest with people. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But we love the graphic side of things. It's just really exciting, even if it's fleet wraps and corporate identity for wraps as well. And it's always fun to do the artistic wraps as well. So, but yeah, we mainly focus on the fleet and commercial wraps.
And yeah, what's the best way for a shop like I mentioned that doesn't do any printed reps, right? And kind of wants to open up that avenue for revenue. What is the best way to kind of start off on the right foot for that kind of thing?
It's really, really tough to say because there's so many different variables on which direction they can go into, but you definitely need to partner up with another wrap shop that does, wholesale printing. And I would think do that first. And then also, trying to figure out if you want to do design yourself, if you want to hire a designer or if you want to outsource it, because you can easily just do commercial wraps and have the customer give you the design, and then you can outsource the printing, and then you can take care of the install yourself. So there's a lot of different avenues, and like I said, a lot of different variables on what you can do in this industry, and that's the beauty of this industry is you can do so many different things. There's a lot of other wrap shops that just do color changes, and every once in a while they'll ask us to do a printed graphic wrap, or they'll go to you guys, reprint wraps to get everything printed out. So it just depends, because it's gonna definitely cause problems if you're not committed. If you end up hiring a graphic designer and your designer doesn't have enough work, then they're going to be kind of bummed out. But yeah, there's a lot of things at play that you have to think about and really plan ahead so you can have a successful print or graphic shop. So it
Yeah,
just
but there is
depends what they
that,
want to do.
pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, right? Because we all know it's pound for pound really good for margin. Or like it's one of the highest paying kind of wraps that a client could possibly get, right? So
Right,
it's like a high level thing that most people would probably want to shoot for if they weren't so scared
right,
to get into that. So that's what I'm
right, for
trying
sure.
to ask here. Like how do you get over that fear and best way to
Right,
sort of go about that, like you said?
right. It's sorry. It's yeah, exactly. It is good margins if you price it out correctly, and you're absolutely right. It's a huge jump from colored wraps to graphic wraps, as you know. So I mean, you have a different alignment. You just colored wraps. You have to make sure it's directional. But when you're doing colored graphic wraps, obviously there's a lot more alignment necessary. There's a lot more to it. So you pull color change wraps off of vinyl off the wall. This one's going to be tiled, so you got to make sure you tile it correctly. So there's a lot of different things you have to learn in that industry versus color change. And luckily, there's a lot of classes and a lot of online YouTube. You have a tremendous amount of in-person classes, which I completely 100% would recommend to anyone that wants to get into the graphics wrap, because it's a whole different dynamic, going from color change to a graphic printed wrap.
Right. What's like the biggest challenges with say running the print department in particular, like, printer issues, something breaks or you don't have this material, ordering that, what's the hardest part about owning the printers and running the actual print side of the job?
Right. So printing, yeah, exactly. Printing is a whole nother ball game for sure. You got to make sure you have a good printer. Make sure that you have a good technician nearby that can help you out with troubleshooting. There are going to be issues with printer, happen once in a while, but if you have a good reliable printer, most of the time you're not going to have issues. But when you first start, you might load the printer wrong. You might have head strikes. You might damage the heads. So make sure you get warranty and make sure you get a printer that you can change out heads easily, and make sure you have plenty of vinyl. I would say practice on inexpensive, cheap, economical vinyl first instead of the premium cast wrap film. That's definitely going to help out. Practice laminating. You're going to be just remember you're going to be wasting a lot of film. And I always take into account about 10-15% of your margins are going to be wasted on either messing up on a print, laminating issues, and also installer issues. If you don't, that's great, but just have that 10 to 15% set off to the side to make sure that you don't mess up on anything. But I would say just make sure you have a strong backbone with your vendors and also your printer techs and also your actual technicians that fix the printer or sell you the printer. So make sure when you buy a printer, make sure that the business has techs in house. Most of the time, they'll give you really good pricing for helping out fix the printer, and that's huge right there. I learned that kind of further into the wrap business because I bought my printer used because obviously we didn't have a lot of capital when we first started, so I bought it used for a really expensive price in Arizona. People that fixed refurbished the machine were in Arizona as well. So when I needed something fixed, I needed to find a local vendor that helps us with printing the. But that's all they were. They were technicians that fixed printers, so they weren't really attached to the sale of the printer itself. So their pricing was a lot more expensive. So granted, the printer was really inexpensive, but then fixing and maintaining the printer every year was really really expensive. So kind of evened out in my eyes. So what we like to do
Yeah,
is we
that's what I want to ask is what's your recommendation for like a first printer? Should they go use what kind of brands work and maybe what's the sort of the standard that you use now? What's a good brand, material, all that kind of technical things.
right. So what I was going to say, exactly what you're going towards, is that at first, you could buy a leased or you can, excuse me, a used printer. But what I recommended is a leased printer, and it really depends on your financial footprint in the business. So for us, financially, it's better to lease the printer. It doesn't go down in value. It doesn't depreciate in value. You lease it, you pay it every month. You have insurance on it, so in case the building burns down, heaven forbid, your printer's covered. And it's just nice. It's just a nice thing to have. It's just peace of mind that your printer is always going to be taken care of. You can have an extended warranty on it. So yeah, we lease ours, and the cool thing is we can lease to buy. So after 3 years, we can lease it, and then we can buy it out for a penny. We can keep it, or we can trade it in for a brand new printer. And the cool thing about this industry is these printers are as you know they're developing better technology every year, if not less than a year, and they're getting faster. The quality is getting better. It's more user friendly, as well as the rep software. So I would push on leasing it. The lease is not that expensive. I mean, you'll make it back after running a half a wrap, just one wrap every month. So to cover the actual cost of it. But a lot of people don't agree with me. They rather just buy it. But the thing is, you buy it, you're going to have to figure out how to sell it. And the thing is, these printers, if you try to sell it after 2 to 3 years, you're barely going to get anything for it. So if you spend $20,000 on a printer, I mean, you might get $2 or $3,000 after 3 or 4 years because the whole market is kind of developed and it kind of runs on building printers better. And parts are not readily available and they're discontinued, so they kind of force you to buy a new printer anyways. So it's in my opinion, it's better just to lease it. But it just depends on your shop and your financial footprint in the business.
Got you. And is there any recommendation for like latex versus ink or that kind of thing? What material you use mainly?
So that's a really good question. So you have the latex, you know, army, and then you have the eco solvent people. So you talk to either one of them, they're like, yeah, latex is way better. And you talk to people that like print eco solvent, they say eco solvent's way better. So it just depends what you want to do with your business and how fast you want the ink to cure for wrapping. We currently have a latex printer, but I do love the eco solvent printers as well. They are getting better as far as outgassing goes, so you don't have to wait a day or two now. It's just maybe 4 hours or 6 hours. It depends on the print and depends on how saturated the print is. You still have to wait a day if it's a really dark black print. So latex is good because water based, and you can basically print it, laminate it, and then start wrapping right away. And if a tile that was misprinted or an installer accidentally messed up on a print, you can literally just reprint that tile, laminate it, and start wrapping. There are advantages of eco solvent versus latex. They say eco solvent, the quality is more saturated. It's actually saturated into the vinyl. They say the colors are a lot more vibrant with eco solvent printers, but I mean, we get really vibrant, colors with latex. So I mean, they know they're competing against each other, so they do have to have that high quality and that pop in those colors. So
Right.
I mean, I'm leaning towards latex just because I'm biased. I've been having a latex, but I'm definitely in the market to buy eco solvent printer. I see there's advantages of speed and other factors as far as outgassing that goes nowadays. So both are really amazing avenues to go towards a printer, and it just really depends on what type of printer you want. And everyone's different. The rips are a little bit different too. It depends on how you want your workflow to go, and depends on how big you want to grow as well. So there's different rips that print off of one printer, and then you can have different rips that print off multiple printers too. So uh, just depends. There's a couple different ways, but I mean most of the high end wrap printers out there, they're all really good, and they all have their advantages and disadvantages.
What kind of media do you like to use the most? Like, is there one that you would pick over any other? Avery 3M specifically.
Yeah, those are my two favorite. We have a really good relationship with 3M and Avery. Been working with them for over 10 years now, Orcal as well. And it really depends on the type of job that we're doing. If it's a standard commercial van or fleet wrap, we'll go with 3M or with Avery. And it depends on the vinyl that our installers like to use. They like to use primarily 3M right now. They did like using Avery back in the day. It's not as tacky. It's gotten tackier over time, which is great. So it depends on the how good the installers are and their experience with the wrap film. So I know some of our installers only like 3M, and then I know some other installers like to use Avery or Oracle in some applications, but we primarily stick with 3M currently.
Got you. Let me hang on. I'm going to cut this part, but I need to look over here. Already asked that. Pretty sure, I'm probably going to edit this a little bit. I'm pretty sure I've asked every question on here in one way or another, just in a more. I was trying to like just build off of whatever you were saying and then ask you
Yeah,
something that's like, yeah.
yeah. I was kind of going over the questions too. I have my notes over here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I noticed that yeah, everything kind of crosses over for sure.
Is there anything that you wanted to say specifically to make a point about, talking about? Is there anything I missed? You know what I mean?
Let's see here.
Here, let me rephrase that question so it sounds like it actually belongs in the podcast. I'll say like, what's one point that you really want to speak about, Mike, or something like that? I'll be like, um,
Right?
what's one thing maybe people don't get about printed wraps or something like that?
Yeah,
What's the
right. I would say
biggest thing people don't understand about printed wraps, maybe?
um I would say something about learning on either the business aspect of wraps, because when you're first starting the business, I mean you see wraps going by, and you'll go to a trade show and you see people wrapping, but you don't see the business side of it. It's the boring stuff, the stuff that people hate, the taxes, for instance, the payroll, all the background stuff uh, that you don't want to deal with. What I'm saying? Like nobody wants to deal with taxes, but you have to. That's the backbone of the business. You have to make money. You have to pay taxes. They come after you. They shut you down if you don't. So I would say learn about the business aspects. Taking some type of accountant or some accountability class for the business, especially if you're running it yourself, or hire someone else. So I've learned over time it's best to do what you are really good at first. I'm really good at design. I'm really good at math, crunching numbers. I'm really good at being creative, installing. So, focus on that. If you're not good at it, hire someone else that's really good at it. They're going to do it faster than you and way cheaper because then you're not going to spend a lot of time trying to focus on doing research, and then you can focus on the business. So I would say one thing is, after seeing all the beautiful beautiful things about doing wraps and graphics, and I mean such an amazing industry. So if you go to a trade show, I would go to trade shows and then just talk to people, talk to other wrap shops, successful wrap shops. How would you get started, just like what we're doing right now. So I would say learn the backside of the business, learn what it takes to make money, learn how much insurance is going to cost you if you have employees, workers comp, liability insurance, so that you can get those high end jobs, because they're going to ask for a COI every time, which is your insurance for liability, workers comp. So if you want those really high end jobs for these big corporate companies, they're going to ask you for insurance. And also, if you want to keep your certifications for wrapping, for instance, like 3M, they ask for your insurance every year because they want to make sure that you're covered. And there's no liability issues. So I would say learn all the boring stuff and all the stuff that you don't want to learn first, because then it's going to bite you in the butt.
Yep, and nobody wants to learn it, but it's true.
Nobody
Because
does.
it's boring. Jeez, it's boring. But yeah.
It is.
Well,
It
you got
is.
a lot of good points here, Mike. I'm gonna wrap this up. Is there any closing, subjects you want to cover, or any, future projects, anything like that we should look out for from Mike?
Future projects. Oh man, we got a lot of good ones coming. We got 2 trolleys coming for Compass Bible down the street. We have a lot of special events going. Rewrapping a boat. We're doing a ton of electrical boxes in San Diego, and then a couple. Let's see here. We got a escape game. I don't know. It's all over the place, but yeah, I mean, those are kind of the main ones. The trolleys are a lot of fun. We did those during COVID for the company. They got 2 more trolleys, so those are really neat. It's a huge project. We're doing the full wrap, including the roof. So that one's going to be really, really cool to show off. It's for great people right down the street. They're awesome community. So I'll just say, keep hustling. No fluff. Uh, just be honest with your pricing. Just be completely transparent with your customers, your employees, and your vendors. If there's any issues, you have a strong backbone within the rap community, and you have different avenues you can reach out to online, through you guys, through other rap shops. So I would say trade shows are kind of number one for me as far as learning, and also doing the actual rap installation classes and getting certified, because that's definitely going to open up a bunch of avenues for you and your business, and also money wise. So I mean, you're definitely going to make more money if you get certified. And learning is key. Education is key. So I would say focus on knowledge and then never stop learning. And don't quit, because you're going to be discouraged. Once you ruin a couple rap prints and files, and you're going to have to eat it, and there goes $400 or $500, and there's no margins. But if you focus on making people happy, number one, and you actually care about what you do, people are going to throw money at you. So that's the main thing.
Awesome. That was a great closing point, Mike. That's an inspirational speech right there. That was good.
Okay,
That
thank
made
you.
me want to get up and work harder.
Thanks,
I
Jackson.
mean, rap car.
Appreciate it.
But thanks again for coming on, Mike. It's been a great interview. This has been Ink and Edge, the Source, episode number 4. And we'll see y'all on the next one.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, that's good. I'm going to
Appreciate
just
it.
cut it right there. That was
Cool.
good, though. You did great, Mike. This is like
Thank
the
you.
second interview I've done, so pardon me for not
You're
having it
good.
all
No, you
quite
did great.
together the way maybe some other fellas got it.
No, no,
I
you're
need a
good. I,
better
I had
microphone. That's
I
what I
had
need.
no idea it was our only second, so that's great. You did awesome.
Sweet. That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's everything. We should be able to transcribe this all. Here, I'm gonna stop the recording actually.